So I'm going to start by thanking the organizers for giving me an opportunity to use your tremendous platform to rub mind with my fellow brothers and sisters. Indeed, I'm very, very, and the topic you have chosen, it's a very germane topic because actually one that affects everybody, people of all faith and indeed of no faith. So if we have every opportunity at any point in time to share our experience with a view to improve the financial position or the financial lot of our brothers and sisters, I think it actually is set in the right direction. I think one of the biggest positive factor for tension within any Muslim home is finances. I mean, once the husband is struggling with his finances, there's always, always bound to be tension along with it, with family. It's just what it is. And so every opportunity that we have to improve our finances, irrespective of what we earn, I think it's in the right direction. I want to say this before I start. This is not a lecture. I do not have any plan to just speak and for people to say Jazakallah khairan at the end of the day. It's a waste of my time. My hope and my prayer is that we will abide by all the information that I intend to share here. And it's only then that I will be happy that indeed the purpose of coming for this program has been satisfied. I've been asked to speak on financial literacy for all, savings, investing, and budgeting on the Meagre income. Again, because this is not, I'm not a professor, I'm a PhD student, so I can't call myself a professor, and I don't think I'm going to be holding chalk in the formal setting. I'm going to speak briefly to the concept of financial literacy, and I will try as much as possible to reframe the concept of saving, investing, and budgeting. The ordering of the word itself is wrong. It should be the budgeting first, saving second, and investing as the third. That you will consider saving and investment before budgeting shows that there's a mixing gap that we will address in the course of this lecture, in the course of this conversation that we are having. Okay. So here we go. In an attempt to look at this topic I've been asked to do, I'm going to be looking at financial literacy, which what I call the literacy 101. There and then, I'm going to speak to the 4 stages of wealth level. And the whole idea behind this is we will never know where we're going if we don't know where we are. And then the step that we need to take to get us to the point. So we are all in point A, and we're trying to get to points B, C, D, E, F. We need to understand where we are as a people, and then we'll know what we need to do. Of course, there are other schools of thought that speak to 5 stages of wealth creation. I'm going to speak to that. And then I'm going to have some sort of interaction with us on the chicken or the egg theory thing. And then we will look at the journey itself. Then I'm going to speak to one powerful concept, which is the power of compounding. And then we would then go into the topic itself by looking at some mindset theories that all of us need to have. The last of the slide, we speak to the general, everyday, practicable how-tos of saving, budgeting, and then and investing too. Of course, I rehearsed that in my presentation. And then at the end of the day, I would welcome all our conversations, questions. I hope I'll be able to answer all. I don't promise to know all. I also intend to learn from us too as well. Now, speaking about financial literacy, one thing I want us to understand. I don't want to bump. Please, thank you. I don't like to bump my head. It's too noisy. Okay, leave it like that. I'm so sorry, please. So I'm going to speak into financial literacy, which is one thing I want to let us know is this is very, very important, irrespective of our income level. Now, the topic we have use the word meager, small, and I want to start by saying meager is a word. It's a very subjective word in that what is small or barely affordable to Malam A may just be the dream of Malam B. So for somebody working in public service as a teacher, for example, his dream job perhaps may be to work with Shell. In our mind, we'll think that, look, you know what? My problem will be solved the day I get a job with Shell. If only we know what is going on in the mind of an average Shell staff. He's probably thinking of getting a job with the United Nations. And the person working with United Nations is probably thinking of getting the job, wherever it is. What that simply then means, therefore, is I'm going to start with this conversation with one fact, that your salary is not the problem. Your salary is not your issue. Your habit is. That's the first thing I want all of us to understand. What you earn at the end of the month is not your problem. So if somebody is asking you, why is it that you're struggling? If you think your salary is the reason why you are the way you are, trust me, when you earn more, you will also continue to complain about the salary. So that's the first thing I want us to know, that irrespective of our income level, our financial literacy understanding is very, very key. That is one message I want all of us to take home, and it's very, very important. Your salary is never your problem. Your habit is. Number two, I will need us to critically understand today, if we don't, the fundamental difference between needs and wants. We tend to confuse the two. And so therefore, sometimes we see brothers, and when I say brothers, I mean brothers and sisters all alike. We see situations where brothers tend to confuse wants with needs. Needs are what you cannot do without. Wants, I want us to listen carefully here, are wants are needs that we think we cannot do without. Needs are what we cannot do without. You just cannot do without it. But want is our own definition of needs that we think we cannot do without. And so what tends to happen here is that all of us confuse needs and wants. Most of us sees our wants as our need. It sometimes needs somebody to bring us to the world of basic reality for us to know that some of the things we claim to be wants in life are not necessarily wants. I mean, some of the things we claim to be needs in life are not necessarily needs. They are wants. We define them. When I say we ourselves, define them as our wants. So somebody on the salary of a 500,000 a month, for example, who decided that, look, my child must go to a very good school. That is need. The want is now your definition of that standard school. The day you think that your salary must account for 30%, your monthly salary must account for 30, 40% of a family fee for a child, that agenda has moved from a need to a want. The reason is, for every time you take a decision on a want, that for every time you take a decision on a need that has an alternative, that need is no longer a need, it's a want. So if you go out there to buy milk and you choose it, because I'm not going to demarket any brand, and you choose a particular brand, and there is somewhere in that same market, there is another brand, far competitive, price-wise, to the one you are holding, what you bought is a want. You have sacrificed a need for a want. It doesn't matter how you choose to couch the language you use by saying, no, this is a need for me. It's not a, yes, milk is a need, but what you are holding in your hand is not a need, it's a want. And I'm not going to blame us. Almost all of us live aspirational life. And that is the reason why we play catch up. I'm going to speak to that later. So that is the second financial literacy understanding I want us to have. A very clear understanding of need and want. And so always ask yourself, when next you go to the market and you pick something and you tell yourself this is a need, ask yourself this basic truth. Is this the only alternative in the market? Are there no other alternative to what I'm holding at the moment? If there is, and you insisted on buying that very one you are holding in your hand, just know that what you have just done is you've satisfied a want. You have not satisfied a need. The third financial literacy 101 I want to teach us is the understanding of debt management. This on its own is a big topic, but I'm going to try and summarize it. Debt, basic. Let me start by telling you that there are two types of debt in life. There's a bad debt and there's good debt. Debt is not evil. Leveraging to optimize our potential in life is very, very good. Leveraging to optimize and satisfy our wants is suicidal. I'll repeat myself. Bad debt is those debts that you incur because you want to optimize your aspirational wants. I want to, you have 5 million naira that is enough to buy you a Toyota Corolla. You decide to borrow additional 5 million naira so that you can purchase a Venza. That is bad debt. You have an hospital. You run an hospital. You have 5 million cash with you that can get you 2-bed space. You approach the bank to ask for additional 5 million so that you can increase your bed space from 2 to 5. that is good debt. One, so therefore, the key message around debt is the aftermath of the debt itself. It is a bad debt if, to settle that debt, you have to sacrifice yourself. You have to take from your personal income, which, by the way, has not grown by the amount you have borrowed from the bank, to offset the debt. In this case, in this very particular instance, you've gone to borrow a car that will take you to the office. I mean, you in life, we always we always I'm looking for the right word here. In life, most of the time, we rationalize. That's exactly what we rationalize our decision, most especially when it is something that has to affect us positively. So somebody might want to ask me, but God is required to take office. Then why do I have to borrow more when the little I have is enough to get me a car? I'm using, so compare that to that of a brother that owns an hospital that need to optimize, that need to upscale the hospital. If your bed space move from your patient bed space move from 2 to 5, it just means that you are able to take care of more patients, and the revenue generating capacity of that hospital has gone up by more than 150%, meaning that the hospital will be in a good position to pay for the loan it has taken. That is a good debt compared to the other one where you will have to be the one to sacrifice other things in order to be able to pay. So we need to understand debt management very well in this journey. Debt is good. You can borrow to optimize, but please do not borrow to satisfy your lifestyle ambition. That is bad debt. Sisters, do it. A lot of people go extra length during Eid just because they want to have a particular buyer, or they want to have a particular shoe, or they want to. These are things that we have to, and for some of us that lives abroad, the evil is even a lot more profound. They throw credit card at you, and once you join the debt race, only Allah can save you, because it becomes a vicious cycle. As you're trying to repay, you are getting to new debts. And then you live your entire life walking around the clock just to maintain a lifestyle that you have confused with a need style lifestyle. The other, the third one, the fourth one I'm going to try and explain to us so that we'll have it clearly is the understanding of what is an asset, what is a liability. It's also very important for us to know, because some of us tend to think that, oh, a particular thing is an asset, a particular thing is a liability. Let me break it down for us clearly. Anything that you own, check around you today, that is not bringing income for you directly, it's not an asset, it's a liability. Anything that you own that is not bringing any income directly for you, but will also take out of your pocket to sustain and maintain it, is a liability. Anything that you own that if you don't spend money on it would get worse than its current position is also a liability. So start thinking around all the stuff you got. Whereas your asset is what brings you income. I know a lot of questions will come around this. I will explain it, but this is where I want to stop around the liability and the asset. So if you have a car, for example, I'm going to use the Venza. I mean, I don't know whether any brother has a Venza here, but this is just an example. If you have a Venza, it's a 5-seater Venza, and you are the only one using it to the office, and you have to stop at 7 Up or maybe every day or every week to fuel it, and you drive it to the office and bring it back home, my brother, what you have is a liability, it's not an asset. So don't stand in front of the Venza celebrating, quote and unquote, the goodness of life. What you have right behind you is a money draining machine that has been built. They pay you.
Hello, sir. Seems we lost him.
Oh yeah, easy.
Dr. Salami, it seems Mr. Adegboyega is muted.
Thank you. Thank you. Right. So I'm spending a lot of my time on this financial literacy 101 because it is the bedrock of everything I want to discuss. Once there's an acceptance of all of these concepts, the rest becomes a lot easier. Emergency fund. In life, things happen. I mean, you can't plan life with certainty. Something will go wrong somewhere. And when things will go wrong, they surely do go wrong. So, as Muslim, we have to prepare for that. So, in everything we're doing, emergency fund, we need to have it kept somewhere, irrespective of the amount. And we have to be consistent around it. It's one key ingredient that supersede any other investment we want to do, any savings we want to do. Before you start your saving, the emergency fund has got to be in place first because things will happen. Like it's life. The other financial literacy concept I want to introduce us to is the issue of having a financial goal and a very smart goal at that. I don't want to go theoretical. Every one of us need to know this is where I am, and this is where I want to get to at this point in time. And we need to look at those goals, set them in such a way that they are smart, they are achievable, they're time bound. You know, there are things that you know you can do. So you cannot be earning ₦1 million in a year and then set a goal of ₦100 million in 10 years. It's unrealistic. So in setting up the financial goal, we need to be very, very honest with ourselves. So we need to understand that this is who I am. This is what I can do within the capacity that I can see before me. And then the last thing I want to say is you need to stay ahead of the game. And you do that by avoiding what I call lifestyle inflation. And I'll explain this concept to all of us. I remember back then, during the MSS camp, it's always maybe the day you eat rice, it's jolly good days. Or maybe back in the university when we were having these Ramadan feeding programs, you eat what is available. What then tends to happen is the moment we now start working, we start raising our standard. We start setting barriers and we start living aspiring life. And there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing, the danger in it is if you don't put a check around your lifestyle will get carried away by inflation and by your salary. So that over time, you that love your Casio wristwatch very well, all of a sudden will see a Casio and say, why would anybody see a 20,000 naira wristwatch on the wrist of a doctor? I mean, why would anybody see me using a Lenovo laptop? Why will anybody see me using a Chinko phone? Why? I mean, we start giving ourselves reason why we need to move to the next level. So your salary increased from 500 to 600. And then the next thing you start thinking, oh no, you know what? I can't wear this sort of brand again. I need to move to this brand. Your salary moves to 700,000 for no reason. For no reason, you choose to move from a 2-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house, even when the 2-bedroom is not yet optimally used. But you just felt, you know what? I'm married, so I need to have a room to myself. My wife needs to have a room, and then the children need to have a room. So what you have done here is what's called a lifestyle inflation-induced movement. And when we do that all the time, you will realize that, yes, truly, your salary has moved from 500 to 700, but you can't really account for the difference. The reason is because you have adjusted your lifestyle to the new salary position that you are. And you may think that, oh, you know what? It's just 200,000. Trust me, sir. As you continue to upgrade your lifestyle with every salary increase, the day you come, you'll be earning 5 million naira in a month, and you will not have what the Yoruba call akojo. Because you have moved, you've moved your lifestyle up. And it's one thing that we need to avoid as Muslims. We need to stay rooted to the ground and convert those excess, those surplus that Allah has given us by way of promotion or salary increase, and convert it into future wealth that we can turn to much later in life. Now, if we want to start this journey, the first thing I'm going to ask is, where are we? And in determining where are we, I'm just going to speak to it broadly. Every individual here will know where they are by the definition I've given them. Now, these theorists believe that there are 4 states of wealth level. The first one is the survival stage. You are in a job. By the way, do you know the meaning of job? J-O-B. Job is nothing other than just over broke. It is what it is for most people. The numbers of billionaires, the numbers of millionaires that are working for people are very, very, very limited. For some people, 6 months out of work, they are in crisis. Severe pain, not T-pain. But for some, it is P-pain. 6 months out of job, and that's what it is. So if you are in that stage, if you're in that stage where you have 0 to low savings, and you're living from one paycheck to another paycheck, you are still in the survival stage. You are also in the survival stage, even where you have high savings, but you have negative thinking and crippling financial insecurity. And that is an aspect I'm going to deal with as we move along. You can't just be able to bring yourself to think about your financial security. The idea of saving, sort of cripple your thought process. You are still in survival stage. All you do about is thinking about more money. I wish you have more money, praying for more money, doing tajud, mourning and sermonizing around the need to have more money. But you have 0 investment and saving traction. You're not investing in anything. You are not saving, but yet you want more money. You are still in that group I call survivor stage. Check yourself. For the people that are in what I call the stability stage, they earn good salary, they earn or returns if they're entrepreneurs. For this set of people, they have regular, the keyword here is regular. They have regular savings, regular investments. They're diversifying if they're in job, they collect their salary, they save, they invest, they set aside emergency fund. And the savings, they have enough money, which is the emergency fund, that can cover periodic non-monthly expenses. And they have a very good understanding of monthly and annual spendings and earnings. So they know how to plan. They know how to do budgeting. They can tell you how much they earn, how much they spend, what they spend, what on. You'll find it so surprising that some of us here cannot really account for our salary beyond what we pay on rent. We can't account for what we spend our money, what we spend on other life essentials. And that is a very, very bad thing. If you cannot account for your salary beyond what you pay for rent, and perhaps maybe what some of us pay for school fees. The third level is the wealthy stage. And for these two, you can see that the definition is not guided by the amount of money you have in the bank account. It is around your mindset. So the first here is within that stage, you have a demonstrable financial security. You understand your financing. You understand your expense. You understand what you need to do to be able to maintain your lifestyle. The level of financial literacy is at an all-time high. If I'm buying a Venza, it is because I've seen a need to be able to pick 4 or 5 people when I'm going to work. And I've done my calculation and I realized that on that trip alone, I'm going to end up with 5,000 or 10,000 to come. In a week, it's 50,000. In a month, it's 200,000. My total fueling for the whole period is less than 100,000. So I will make 100,000 every month, 1.2 million a year, which I can save. Over 4 or 5 years, I've made enough money to cover the cost of my car. That is how people in this trade, this is how they think, this is how they rationalize things. They don't have concern for everyday bills because they've done all their calculations, they know what we paid for what, and therefore their focus has shifted to making more money through their investments. These people never spend their seed capital. They only spend on the return of their funds. They never spend the initial money that comes to them. And this is one thing every one of us has to understand. Your salary is not your income. Your salary is your seed capital. And that's what you need to split into 3 or 4, as the case may be, and then invest. We're still going to come to that much later. The last stage is the affluent stage. Of course, very few people ever get into this level. This is this level that you start taking on world big problem. I want to solve malaria. I want to do this. I want to do this. That's what we do here. So again, it is also similar to this 5 stage of wealth creation in terms of how you build fund for yourself. So I'm just going to spend very little time here. As you start building wealth for yourself, the first level is where you cover all your basic needs of life. At that very point in time, you move into a position where you start investing your money. That's where the strategy comes in. Then you move into what is called the financial security zone, where you don't have to worry about simple things: what to eat in the morning, what to eat in the afternoon, what to eat in the night. And then you get to a point where we call the financial freedom, which is where all of us want to get to in life. Abundance, if Allah wills. That is a point where it doesn't really matter again. Now, I'm trying to be mindful of the time here. So this takes us back to this well-known adage. And it's a conversation, which is the chicken or the egg theory. Now, the chicken here refers to savings. The egg here refers to investments. And so the question will be, which one comes first? Is it the savings or the investments? Can you get savings without investment? Can you get investment without savings? That's the normal, the usual conversation that happens all the time. And for us, the most important thing is to ask ourselves, where are we in the scheme of things? Where we are at any particular time in our financial journey will determine which one we'll have to prioritize. So if you are in your 20s, your focus will be on savings so that you can convert those savings to investments. And later, relying on that investment to be able to create for yourself memories. In life, you can only come to wealth through 2 avenues. You can only come to wealth through, there's no third option. It is either you inherit the money, whether you are Dangote's son or daughter, or Foster's son or daughter, or MK Abiola. Yes, your father died. The day your father died, you become an instant billionaire. That is one sure way of coming into wealth. The second option is through savings and investment. Now, there are just few of us that will be lucky or fortunate enough to have parents that will have done this second one, the savings and investment, and they are only just going to be passing on to us the wealth via inheritance. For most of us, we are the first generation of people that will be challenged with creating wealth through savings and investments. I'm not saying our parents did not try, they did. But what I'm saying is, if you want your kids to be in wealth through inheritance, you have to start with the savings and investment. And for most of us, we are unlucky enough to be in that position where we will have to be the one to start the process for the kids to benefit. And if that it is the case, then the journey will have to start with the awareness, which is what I call the financial awareness. You have to know who you are as a person, understand this is where I am, understand your attitude to money, understand your attitude to spending. Once you do know all of this, it becomes easier. My brothers and sisters, try and understand that I am yet to spend my time to address specifically the question. And the reason is very, very simple. The how-tos are scientifically proven logic or process. If you follow them, you will end up with an assured wealth. The reason I'm spending my time here is because despite the fact that these are scientifically proven logic, very few people follow them. And the reason is because of these steps that are missing in our life. The first is the awareness. The second is the financial discipline to be able to walk the talk. For some of us, whether we use the Gregorian calendar or the lunar calendar, every January, every January, we would write and say, oh, I intend to do this. I'll be doing this. By January 10, the plan is gone. Because of what? Lack of financial discipline. For some, they may have the discipline. The understanding is not there. The literacy is not there. For some, it is the financial flexibility to be able to navigate all the nuances of savings and investment. If you go through this cycle very well, methodically, you will get to the final destination. The final destination that all of us want is financial stability and financial freedom. But without going through all of this other step, we might not get to that level, or we might not get to our destination in the state and manner that we wish we will get there. And because of that, I'm not going to share with us the power of compounding. Remember the journey. The journey is about awareness. It's about discipline. It's about literacy. It's about flexibility. If you imbibe all of this, you will grow into your life financial stability and financial freedom. All of this, you will achieve this because of this simple worldwide tested principle, which is the power of compounding. And I'm going to share with us this stage. I will use the numbers here for us to see. And I hope everybody can see. I hope everybody can see the slide.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. So what I've done here is for us to see the power of compounding and the power of consistency. Remember, I said we need financial discipline. Remember, we have spent our time on creating the right awareness. Remember, we spent our time discussing financial literacy, right? Now, what I want to demonstrate to us in the next slide now is the implication or the impact of all of these theories, all of these concepts infused with consistency and financial discipline. Now, look at what I have there. The first slide is your monthly savings. And what I said is, if you choose to save consistently now, the key word here is consistency. 5,000 every month, or 10,000, or 20,000, or 25,000, or 50,000. You're at 25 years old. I'm taking that as the average age within which I expect you to get into the workforce. And consistently, every month without fail, you choose to save this 5,000 naira every month. Using an average 15% return, which by the way may vary during the year, but this is just an average to make this explanation simple. You can see where your destination will be financially after 20 years. So if you choose to save 5,000 naira every month for the next 20 years, at 45, you have 7.6 million naira waiting for you. The law of compounding makes it even more interesting. Look at if the time when you decide that you are going to be saving 20,000 naira every month, when at 45, you have a 30 million with you. And if you have a 50 million with you, that becomes 76 million naira after 20 years. And you see, I did an iteration and I decided that, look, okay, so this is the slide that I want you all to see. You can see that at month 0, all of us were on the same position in life. The man with 20,000 naira, the man with the 50,000 naira. I mean, with the man with the 50,000, the man with the 5,000, they are all at the same level. But please look at what happened after 20 years. See the gap. After 20 years, you can see what has happened. Now, understand that the man saving 50,000 naira may be earning less or same compared to the man saving 5,000 naira. It's all about the discipline. It's all about the awareness. It's all about the flexibility. It's all about us understanding and interpreting needs and wants correctly, and understanding what good debt is, what bad debt is, and then committing to a course of action. Saving investments are long-term plans. They are not 2 years. They are not 100-meter dash race. They're not 2 years. They're not 3 years. It's for long term. And so you must have that mindset that I'm going to do it. Now, anybody's going to be asking, oh, but nobody is 25 years again. Whatever your age is, another 20 years will come, inshallah. And so what it means is, even if you are 50 years today, and you decide that, okay, based on this concept, I'm going to start saving 50,000 every month, consistently every month. Trust me, in 20 years' time, this is the results or near result that you will have. Because I'm a farmer, there's always, we believe in long-term plan. I'm into cash crops. And so I learned a lot from the rural people that I interface with every now and then. And one of the philosophy they share with me is, as a farmer and as a cash crop farmer, you must continue to plant those cash crop every year. And so I interacted with a 78-year-old man who has a farm not far from mine and who was busy planting 50 new oil palm seedling. And I was like, Baba, at 78, why do you need to do this? When the chance of you even benefiting from the first harvest is very remote. And he replied me, he said, you are right. But you know what? Let me plant. If I die, it becomes inheritance for my generation. But the biggest mistake you will make is to not do anything because you think you are going to die, and then Allah grants you longevity in life, and then Allah allows you to live till 90, 95. At that very point in time, you are not going to be living a life of regret. You are going to be telling yourself, oh, I wish I've done it. So in this instance too, even if you are 50, my brother, please commit to it. Give yourself that 20-year time frame, that 10-year time frame. Commit to it. Forget about the concept, oh, will I live long enough to be able to spend this money? The answer is, I do not know whether you're going to live long enough to spend it. But I can give you one answer, which is that if you don't do it, you will end up with nothing. And so my key advice to us is consistency is the key to financial freedom that we all want. You cannot, if you plan to save 50,000 this month, you cannot save this month, then the next month increase it to 100,000, and then in March refuse to drop anything. No. Consistency is doing the same thing every time. The day you choose to save 70 instead of 50, the next month, what you have done technically is you have created room for cheating. And after some time, indiscipline will step in, and then you're going to start borrowing forward. Do you know the meaning of borrowing forward? That's when you say, okay, my something March in April, or my something April in May. Financial discipline and consistency requires you to be able to pay that same money every month, exactly at the time when you say you're going to do it. And today, there are several automated apps that allows us to keep to this level of financial consistency and discipline. And alhamdulillah, today too, there are several banks, institutions, mutual funds, asset managers, takaful, that will ensure that some of the biggest challenge facing us in time past, in some 10 years ago, which is, oh, if I save this money, the interest on it is around and all of that. That is no longer the issue now. You can save your money and earn competitive return in the halal way. I'm not going to be promoting anybody, but I'm going to promote my bank. Al Barakat Bank is there. You can set up an automated savings with them and you earn your return. So all I'm saying is we need to be very, very, very consistent. But like I explained, if you do nothing, I am very, very certain. I'm not God, though, but I can tell you, you will get nothing. If you bring out your kolo and put it under your bed for 20 years without putting anything inside that kolo, I can bet, I know for certain that when you bring it out 20 years time, that thing will just be what it is. We'll have nothing inside it. So therefore, this really shows that we need some degree of consistency in our life to be able to move on. I know saving is not easy. And without saving, you cannot do investment. So I'm going to help us with some mindset rules here that will help us overcome our fear for saving. The first thing is that you need to develop a positive emotional intelligence around savings, around budgeting, around investments. It is not to kill you. It is to help you and give you the future that you want. That is what this is all about. So please, the first thing is we need to develop that positive emotional intelligence. Then the second rule is that you must tell yourself the home truth. You must have what's called the minimum saving rule and stick to it. You are never going to earn enough, and money will never be enough at any point in time. So what it means is, as a person, you must define your barrier and stick to it. You must be able to say, you know what, even if I'm earning 1 naira, and that is how I plan, I don't tell myself I want to save 100,000. I don't do that. What I tell myself is I'm going to save 20 kobo from every 1 naira that I earn. That's my own saving methodology. I don't tell myself I'm going to save 100,000 or 500,000. No, I don't do that. But I have a well-enshrined philosophy. For every 1 naira that I have, I must save 20 kobo. That's my own golden rule. And it's because I'm no longer in salary, I'm not an entrepreneur. So my income is not fixed. So therefore, whatever I earn at any point in time, the first thing I take care of is my savings. So the day I make 1 million, it's 200,000. The day I make 10 million, it is 2 million. So there is that consistency around what I save, percentage-wise, even where the actual amount may differ. The other thing I want to tell us that we also have to practice is the concept of delayed gratification against present biases, and I'm going to explain to it. Delayed gratification is, look, heaven will not fall if you don't buy that phone today. Nothing will go wrong if you don't build your house this year. Nothing will go wrong if you don't buy that car next month. Nothing. So this concept of I must do it, I must do it. No, no, no. As much as possible, learn to practice this delayed gratification. And the way I do it for my life is I'm not going to buy anything except I have money to buy ×3 of that thing. So the day you see me buying a phone of 200,000, it is because the initial 200, I've invested it creatively and I've earned return from it. And I've used the return to create another investment. And I'm using the money, the return from that return of the investment to now go and buy my phone. That is what I do as a person. I'm never going to collect my salary, which by the way is my seed capital, and then go to a phone shop to buy a phone. I will not do that. That money has to travel out, go and earn me money, and the return must travel back to go and earn me money, and the accumulation of return from different multiple sources, I will then add together and then go and use it to buy my phone. So that even if that phone goes missing tomorrow and I want to replace it, I can use my return again and not my seed capital. So please, all of us must embrace delayed gratification. Practice it. If you have 100,000 with you today and you want to buy a shoe, heaven will not fall. Call the MD of Albarica. You know what? I have this 100,000. What investment can I do with you for 3 months? Oh, they will tell you, what can I earn on it? Okay, we'll give you 15,000 naira. Put that money away for that 3 months. Be wearing the slippers you are wearing. Be wearing the badly torn shoe you are wearing. Just manage it for that 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, what Albarica will give you back is now 115,000 naira or 110,000 naira. What that simply means is, even if you cannot embrace delayed gratification further, what it means is that you can afford that shoe now with some change left in your pocket, which 3 months ago, we have left you with zero balance. So as much as possible, let's us move towards delayed gratification against present biases. I must buy now, I must buy now, I must buy now. It's the same thing with this balancing short-term gains with long-term financial goal. Then the last principle there, theory, is the principle of 50-30-20 rules. What that simply means is at any point in time, you must set aside 50% of your income to meet your needs, 30% to meet your wants, and 20% for your savings. But did you see how I wrote that thing? But your starting point is you must pay yourself first. So what do? That 20% is the first one that you have to take out. So if you earn 100,000 and you want to apply this rule, it means that every month before Zainab or Myram will ask for anything, first take that 20,000 out first. So if anybody is asking you, what is your salary is not 100,000, your salary is 80,000. And stick your gum to it, that nothing will happen. This money, this 20,000 is my own salary. I'm paying myself and I'm going to save it. I'm going to invest it. Once we embrace all of this, the practical how-tos are very, very simple. They are everyday things that we do. The only reason why we fail to do them is because of either of awareness, either of technical know-how, either of inconsistency, either of indiscipline. but they are principles that I practice, and they are very, very, very simple. Here we go with it, starting with budgeting. The first thing about budgeting is very simple. Create a budget plan. And don't only just create a budget plan, create it and stick to it. There's no point writing something down and not following through. Write it down. If you have a computer, if you have an Excel, do it. There are several apps today that can even help you on this budgeting. Shebotimo. This is not a case of cutting your cloth according to your size. No. It's not compulsory as a man. It's not compulsory that you wear a full-length trouser. Anything over your knee is okay. As a man, it's not compulsory that you should have 3 or 4 pockets on your trouser. One is enough. The same thing with your shirt. It's not compulsory you have a breast pocket. You have 2 side pockets. One may be enough, or you may choose not to put any at all. It's not compulsory that you wear a long sleeve. You can wear a harmless. All I'm trying to say is there are alternatives to everything we once considered to be sacred or we once considered to be important. All we just need to do is to do a busted thinking and ask ourselves, how can I manage this? So the first thing is create a plan. The next thing is track your expense. Now, this may look very, very mundane, but trust me, things to get you on the side of financial stability and freedom are very, very simple. I'm telling you the truth. It is not rock science, it's not difficult. The reason why most people don't do it is because they lack awareness or they lack discipline or consistency. But they are very, very simple. And this is what I practice. Again, the third thing is when you are doing your budget, please don't get into a situation where you start prioritizing your wants over your need. In budgeting, you must prioritize your needs over your wants. Your wants can stay. Your wants can wait. For example, how many of us do a shopping list before going to the market? How many of us do a shopping list before going to the supermarket? Ideally, you're supposed to have one. And you stick to it. I know somebody, I wouldn't know whether the person is on this platform hearing me. I can bet it in the life of me that when she says she's going to the supermarket to buy 2 items, she's going to come back home with 5, 6 items. She's just not been able to, okay, now I think I've revealed the identity. The person has not been able to guide himself or herself against spending over the limit. Now, have a budget calendar. Have a sense for your income and expense. When is your money coming in? Where are they coming from? Where are you spending your money on? How can you improve on that spending process to reduce it? You understand? I've spoken to the last word. Avoid impulse purchase. Don't just buy. Don't buy anything that is not on your shopping list. And therefore, meaning that anytime you're going out to buy things, make sure you are buying because it has been documented. You have a plan for it. And as much as possible, on every periodic basis, review and adjust your budget plan. The reason why I mentioned budget first is this is the first part towards financial stability and security. What is not written is often forgotten. If you don't document things, chances are there that you are going to forget them. So the starting point for saving and for investment is to write it down. And that's where budgeting becomes very, very important. It does not matter what you are earning and how you earn them. Have a plan and stick to it. On saving, the first thing, again, I've said it, is you must have a positive mindset that you are not born poor and financial challenge is not your lot. Even if you don't have today, you can plan and save your way out of poverty. Don't wait for one memo to come. Even when it comes, you will not know because you don't have the right positive mindset. I've seen people that have earned millions from pool betting, from betting. In under 1 year or 2 years, they are back to where they are in the trench. They are poor again. So don't think that, oh, they are stupid. It's just the mindset. Once you don't have a saving and investment mindset, no matter the amount of money you earn as salary, no matter the amount of windfall that comes to you, you'll be back to where you were in no distance time. Another thing, please, which I do a lot is have a goal and prioritize long time over short time. Have a goal in 10 years time, in 15 years time, in 20 years time. You may think that 20 years is relatively young, is a long time. When the organizer, the introducer mentioned the fact that I left school 1998, I had to ask myself, so it's true I've left school almost 27 years ago. You know what? A time will come, it will be that I left school 40 years ago. So be afraid of time because it will creep on you in a manner that you do not know. Be mindful of time. It will come and go past you, and you are going to ask yourself, what have I been doing in life? To start is tough, but trust me, you will be so shocked at how soon 20 years will come and go, and you will have nothing to show for it other than regret, and I know. So it is better to do it now and hope for the best than to have a negative mindset thinking that who knows whether I will live till that time. You are not the only one in this world. And the Prophet Sallallahu encouraged us to bequeath things to our children, if you can. So even dying rich is beneficial to the Muslim community than dying poor. So even if you are not thinking about yourself, think about the community that you live in and ask yourself, this is something I have to do. And you can start small and upscale later. It's possible. And it's something that I want all of us to do. But the key thing is you must be very, very consistent and persistent. You cannot have excuse. Financial discipline requires 100% consistency. And again, as much as possible, avoid the debt trap. Now, when I said the debt now, remember what I said about the debt earlier in my first slide? I'm speaking to the bad debt trap. I'm not speaking to good debt that you use to optimize your business or your operation. And like budget to review and adjust. That's what you do for your savings. On the investment, again, like every other one, you will start with a plan. And you must start early in life. And where you have missed it before, you must start today. If 25 years ago was a good time to plant, to have an oil plantation, an oil palm plantation, you know what? Today is another time to do it. And I'll give you my own example. 12 years ago, there was a joke about the fact that while Nigerians are going to the to go and camp in the forest to be praying every night. Oluwagbadura, 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 Oluwagbadura. the Chinese people are going into the same forest planting trees. And 5, 6, 7 years later, they are converting those trees to money. While the Nigerian people are immersed in corruption. That thing was very offensive to some religious cycle. And because I posted it, I took it as a challenge on myself. I said, I'm going to go into the forest too. And I set up an oil plantation. When we did that, at that very point in 2010, our cash flow projection from sales of oil palm was 7,000 naira for a 25 for a 25-liter jerry can. Today, just last month, we were selling the same thing for 64,000 naira. One single jerry can. 12 years ago or 13 years ago, it was 7,000 naira. We were hoping that if you sell 100 keg at 7,000 naira, we will break even in 3 years. You can do the math and see whether we're broken even now or not. And we've not stopped planting. We're still planting. We're still investing. And we're doing this because of the concept of it's either you start early or you start today. So what I'm telling you is, if you have missed it in the past and you're 50, it's never too late. You're 60, it's never too late. Start now and don't stop. Now, in investing, you must understand your risk tolerance level, who you are. Here, you will need an advisor. And like I said, the community of Islam is so blessed today. It's now blessed today that we have several Islamic funds managed by our brothers who can guide us through this process. Some can even do it in such a way that you don't even need to save the money for 1 year before you bring it to them. Bring the money as you are saving. But they have apps that will take the money from your account. I save on my own side. I save 4,000 naira every month into an app. And the money is mine. At the end of the year, you're going to walk away with over 750,000. That is one cash that, if I have not done that, I would never have been able to save it on my own, because I would just feel, what is 4,000 naira? And that's the concept. What is 4,000? But at the end of the year, that 4,000 becomes 750,000 naira, which is something I can now use for something else. So, and another thing, please, when we're now investing, now we have saved a lot of money. I want to plead with us. Only invest in what you know and not what is trending. Oh, they said if you invest in Bitcoin, you'll do this. Please, my brother, don't do it. Or, oh, if you go and invest in oil palm, you can be doing palm oil saving. But don't do it except you know. Oh, cocoa is now 15 million naira per ton. Let's go and be buying cocoa. Don't do it except you know. Oh, they understand that if you go to the north, you can buy beans and sell it in Lagos. Only do it if you know. And when you don't know, like what the Quran and the Hadith teaches us, go to people that knows. Go and learn it before you get into it. Educate yourself. Very, very important. You can see that's the reason why we start with financial literacy. And then in everything you want to do, don't be a 100-meter dash person. Invest for the long term. And as much as possible, have a diversified income stream. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Invest in different things. You have 5 fingers for a reason. So have a diversified portfolio This one is giving you income. This is giving you income. The third one is giving you income. The fourth one is giving you income. The fifth one is giving you income. Have income from different multiple sources. Because that's what will guarantee you that financial stability and the freedom that you so desire. And as with all the other two that we have shared, always review and adjust. Set a year or set a period every 6 months, every 3 months, every 12 months. Review your program, review your success, celebrate your success with your family. Now, I'm assuming that all of us, I mean, we're out. How many of us are on this Zoom call? We have about 99, close to 100 of us. Let's assume that all of us today, we are on ground zero. And we decide that all of us will start saving saving 10,000 every 100,000, 10,000 will be ₦1 million from all of us. Over the next 12 months, we will have 12 million. Over the next 10 years, is 120 million. That's the minimum we can have. So you can see the traction that we can create even when and if we start today and we are consistent on that financial journey. So, my brother, because of time, and I know that I've taken our time beyond what's necessary, I'm so sorry, but just that I'm very, very passionate about this. This is one thing that I preach and I practice every day. And I always ask myself, why is it that I don't have as many Muslim brothers and sisters that will be part of this journey, that will see this the way I see it, and hopefully set themselves up on the path of financial stability and freedom. It is my hope that we will embrace this, and when next we are having this conversation, we'll be looking at other options, and I wouldn't have to come back here to have to repeat myself on how we can save and invest and budget on a small salary. For everything I've said here, all the errors are mine. I'm so sorry. I may have overlooked my shortcoming for anything that I may have said that is out of place. I'm so sorry about that. But understand that all I have is for us to have a wealthy life of financial stability and freedom. I couldn't call the answer. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan. Jazakumullah khairan. Actually, I was trying to stop you due to the time limits and yeah, but it's okay. You've actually, taken us beyond what we're actually expecting to get from you. Jazakumullah khairan. I don't have the time to recap anything you said. I want to strongly believe we are very much grab everything our lecturer has said. If not everything, at least we can now understand exactly what our needs are as compared to our wants. We can actually understand what an asset means and what a liability means to us. We can actually see what or the reason why we need to really do everything possible to safeguard our emergency funds. We need to always save for a rainy day. A lot of things happen, unexpected. And if we are not saving for a rainy day, if those emergency funds are not there, we are always in trouble. We are very much aware of the various levels you've told us about, from the survival to the affluence level. We believe Almighty Allah to upgrade us as we move on in life. The chicken and egg theory is so clear to everyone. If you chop your chicken, you cannot get anything out of it. It's very clear. Yeah, you made reference to the women folk. They get to the market without any planning. They will buy more of wants than more of needs. So I think everything is so clear today, sir, and I want to really congratulate you for for this wealth of knowledge. I want to pray that Allah continue to bless you and continue to enrich you with more knowledge in this your field of endeavor. I'm so happy that you are a farmer also. I'm really interested in that aspect. I will need to connect you with that personally. Some questions are here on the screen. Somebody is asking, because you made reference to Albarka Bank, sir. You are moving to the question and answer straight away. Some are asking, where is Albarka Bank in Lagos?
I think
they want to know where is Albarka Bank in Lagos. I think that has been responded to. Yeah. I think that has been responded to in the chat. Okay, there's another question here, sir. At what time do we consider emergency savings? At what time do we consider emergency saving? Is it after taking out the 20% of our personal savings?
The answer is 20%. Your 20% is non-negotiable. Now, your emergency fund is now driven by your own personal circumstance, and you will take that from a little of your 30%, a little of your 50%. Now, understand that your emergency fund is fund that will be required when we don't know to satisfy a need. So what you are now doing is to make sure that you take money from a little bit from your wants, a little bit from your need, and set them aside. Your savings is your salary, is your full salary. You must not touch that at any point in time, and for no reason.
Okay, I think that's clear enough. We have Sister Khadija who wants to ask a question, I think. Khadija Suleiman.
Yes, I'm here. Jazakumullah khairan for in this brilliant lecture. I'm always very much interested, but I see that one problem that I personally have, let me not make it a general thing. I invested in Lotus Capital then, and I think the last time I put any money into buying the shares or whatever is around 2019 or so. And the main reason I would say is because they changed. I was always receiving different messages that this is a new, what is it called? The person I know formerly is no longer, and there is this trust issue. And I wouldn't want to say that I'm sending money to an account that I can't physically or guarantee that it's actually safe. So let me just keep what is there in there for now. So aside the Islamic banking, I've done with Takafo before, but their returns wasn't that impressive. I don't know. So these ones like MTN shares, can we need them like a diverse form of options for investment. Could you help with any?
Okay, so
I reside in Port Harcourt, so if you're mentioning Albarka is in Lagos. We have limited access to most of those things that are here.
You said you reside in Port Harcourt. Okay.
Yes.
But number one is I do not want to market any specific fund, but in Nigeria today, we have about 15 registered mutual funds that are halal certified. We have 5 Takafo companies, and I think we have some 4 non-interest bank in Nigeria. Now, if you are not earning, if the fund you have with you is not that huge, my advice is always that people should put their money in mutual funds. Mutual fund essentially aggregate fund from everybody, and because they have that huge fund, they then invest in instruments that will even give more than the 15% I have used. So for example, the Nigerian Sukuk bond, for example, is currently with an implied yield of about 17% or more. But there's a minimum amount which some of us may not benefit from. But there are mutual funds that we aggregate our fund together and go and invest that money. So if the minimum amount is 5 million and we all contribute money now, the first month is just 1 million, we can't buy that Sukuk bond. But we can approach any of these mutual funds, give them the 1 million, and they will aggregate from other source the 5 million and then invest that 5 million in that Sukuk bond. Meaning that even though we have invested 1 million, we have opportunity of earning 17% on that Sukuk bond. So there are several like that, and I'm happy to engage on a personal level. But what I would advise is, like I said, in investing, please don't invest with emotion. Don't invest because people said, oh, this is an Islamic thing. Educate yourself, and you must know the reason why you are investing. So do I buy shares? Yes. Will I encourage a novice or somebody who is not in that field to start investing by buying shares? The answer is a capital no. Because I don't know your risk tolerance level, and it's better I push you to start on a steady fund where I know that the income will come. Remember that in investment, the first thing you have to care about is the return of your money before the return on your money. But most time, most of us invest based on return on our money without thinking about the risk associated with that investment. And as with everything in life, the higher the return, the higher the risk threshold. And the only way to mitigate that risk threshold is if you have the right education. But in the absence of that education, it's always better to go with the crowd, go with mutual fund operator who studied and understand the game and will help you navigate the journey successfully, inshallah.
So the mutual funds you were talking about now, is it an example also of a compound form of savings?
Oh, yes. So you see, the law of the law of compounding will apply once you keep your money there for the long term. So, for example, you are saving your money. At the end of the year, your money will be more than 1.2 million. You know
so
what
long
you have
as you don't, so long as you don't withdraw the dividend.
Exactly. No, so long as you don't don't forget that this is savings. It's not money that you are supposed to, you want to touch. So the 1.2 will be there. At the end of the year, your money is no longer 1.2. It's going to be 1.2 plus your return. Now, when you now allow your return to go and work again, the following year, what is working for you is now two money. What you have saved and what you have earned. So you have the parent and the child for the second year. In your third, at the end of the second year, you have three generations of wealth. The grandfather, the father, and now the son. And so for every passing year, you are creating generational wealth in that bucket. And what's more, if you now don't stop, so you do not stop after year one, you are also adding in year two, you're also adding year three. So what it means is at the end of 5 years, for example, you have created 5 different generational wealth, each with its own generation. Year one has its own generation, year two has its own generation, year three has its own generation, year four has its own generation. You can see the impact or the effect of compounding there now. Can you appreciate that now?